My life changed forever when I lost both my parents while I was still in the university. I was just a young student trying to find my way in the world. Their death left a huge void in my heart, and the weight of my grief was overwhelming. Without their support, I felt lost and alone, unsure of how to continue my education. I desperately wanted to finish school and make them proud, but the financial burden was too heavy for me to carry. In my time of need, I turned to friends who didn't have my best interests at heart. They were not true friends, they were bad influences. They encouraged me to take drastic actions to solve my problems. One day, while discussing my struggles, someone suggested that I could sell my womb to a wealthy man known as a blesser. I heard of these men who would pay for much arrangements, but I never thought I would consider it. After thinking over it, I decided to go through with it. The desperation to finish my education and have a stable life overshadowed my moral concerns. I met the blesser, who was from Cape Town, and we made a deal. He promised to give me 1 million rand in exchange for my womb. It was a shocking decision, but I felt I had other choices. When I received the money, I felt a mix of excitement and fear. I had never seen so much money in my life. I thought this was the change, and it was going to change my circumstances and financially build a future for myself. With the money in my hands, I felt like I could do anything. I quickly decided to buy a house for 500,000 rands. I wanted a place to call my own, somewhere I could feel safe and secure. I also bought a car for 400,000 because I wanted to have freedom and independence. I thought these purchases would make me happy and give me stability I desperately needed. However, I soon realized that I had made some terrible mistakes. After spending almost all of my money, I was left with very little. I started to hang out with fake friends who were only interested in my money. They took advantage of me, always want to go out, eat expensive meals, and enjoy good life without contributing anything. I wanted to express them, so I spend more than I should have because I want to impress them. As I squandered the remaining money on these fake friends, I began to feel a deep sense of regret. I thought I was living a dream, but I was actually heading toward a nightmare. I should have saved or invested the money wisely, but instead I let it slip through my fingers. Then the unthinkable happened. One night, I returned home to find my house on fire. Flames were everywhere, consuming everything. I had worked so hard. I felt helpless as I watched my dreams go up in smoke. I lost all my belongings, my safe place, and the only thing represented my new beginning. The fire destroyed everything in minutes, and I was left with nothing. To make matters worse, shortly after that, my car was stolen. I felt like life was kicking me while I was down. I couldn't believe how quickly everything has turned to ashes. I was devastated and I don't know how I would recover from those lessons. The money I had received from my womb was gone. So were the things I had brought with it. Feeling lost and alone, I tried to find comfort in relationships. I entered into marriages, hoping to find love and support. However, each marriage ended in a failure. I went through 4 marriages, and each time it felt like a part of me was broken. The men I married seemed to change after we got together. They became mentally ill and ended up dead, and I couldn't understand why this kept happening. It was as if a dark cloud has fallen into me, and every man who entered my life suffered because of it. I became to believe that I was cursed. Each failed marriage brought more pain, and I felt increasingly isolated. I yearned for a family, but the relationships I pursued only brought headache. Now, as I reflect on my life, I find myself in a very lonely place. I am hurted by the choices I made and the consequences that followed. I want to start a family, but I fear that my past will repeat itself. I long for a stable life, free from the shadows of my decisions. I often wonder how I ended up here. I sacrificed so much for money, and it seems like the price was too high. My heart is heavy with regret, and I'm desperate. I realize I need help to heal and move forward. I'm reaching out for support, hoping to find guidance and a way to rebuild my life. I want to learn from my mistakes and create a better future for myself. I wish to break the cycle of pain and find peace. I know it won't be easy, but I believe that with help, I can reclaim my life. This is me, and this is what has been happening to my life solution angle. When you post, don't forget to hide my identity. I'll be in trouble. I know. My life changed forever, and I am seeking for anyone who can help me and get out of this because I am really struggling. Solution uncle. Yes, my sister. You send another message. Let me check, listeners. This is of us. Send another message minutes after the first one. Let me check if I can see. I can see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, listeners. This is so sad. So sad indeed. Okay, my sister, I'm unable to see it. But as you mentioned in your story, you faced a lot of difficulties. A lot of difficulties. And you said when you received the money, you squandered it. Yes, I have come across the message. This is another message from the sister. As I dealt with my own struggles, I saw my friends begin to suffer as well. After the ritual I'd participated in, strange things began to happen around us. One by one, my friends experienced terrible. The first friend, my closest friend, Tandy, was the first to suffer. She had joined me in some rituals, believing they would bring us wealth. One night she went out with a group and never returned. Her family found her the next day dead in a ditch. They said she had been hit by a car, but I always felt it was something darker at play. The second friend, then there was Sizwe. He was always looking for quick money and he had also taken part in the same rituals. One day he called me sounding panicking. He said he was seeing things that were not there. A few days later, I heard he had been admitted to a mental hospital and visited him, but he didn't recognize me. The darkness had taken him away and he eventually passed away in the hospital, lost in his own mind. Third friend tried to distance herself from us. She thought the rituals were cursed, but one evening she was found lifeless in her apartment with no signs of struggle. It was ruled a drug overdose, but I knew it was that ritual we did. The fourth friend, finally, her name was Mufo. He was always the jokester, trying to lighten the mood. But after another friend is passing, he became withdrawn. He started drinking heavily, and one night he went missing. We found him in a park, lifeless, under a tree. It broke me to see my friends begin to lose their lives. I realized that our choices were leading to tragedy, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. Now, as I reflect on my life, I find myself in a very lonely place, solution angle. I'm haunted by my choices. Truly, I made wrong decisions when I was still growing up, and I still regret it. Reflecting on my journey, I have learned valuable lessons about the importance of making wise choices and surround myself with genuine people. My past decisions have shaped me, but they do not define uh, what I thought it would be when we're doing it. Please hide my identity when you post. Thank you so much, my sister, for sharing your story. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you need You said, my sister, you said you introduced yourself, and after you lost your parents, you took a dangerous turn. In desperation, you went and sell your womb. Nothing is for free from the devil. Nothing is for free from the devil. This is another lesson we have learned from this story of yours. And it is in need to be addressed. We need to address this. My sister, listen what I'm going to tell you. Listen to what I'm going to tell you now. Here are some simple Bible-based solutions and guidance that can help you find peace. The first important thing is seek forgiveness and new beginnings. There are Bible verses you need to read. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. 1 John chapter 1 verse 9. Meaning, God's forgiveness is open to anyone who truly asks for it. Admitting our mistakes and seeking God's forgiveness is the first step to healing. You can start fresh by bringing your regrets, guilty, and fears to God in prayer. He is ready to give you a clean slate. Number two, another thing you need to do is to turn to Jesus for rest. Turn to Jesus Christ for rest, my sister. And there are Bible verses. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. This means that if you are feeling overwhelmed or burdened by the past, Jesus invites you to find rest in Him. You don't have to carry the weight of these memories alone. Trusting in God's love can help lift that burden and bring peace to your heart. Number three, break free from negative influences. Break free from negative influences. Read First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. Everyone who is listening. First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. Surrounding ourselves with people who encourage us to do the right thing can help us stay on a better path. Choosing wise friends who want the best for you with strength to strengthen your journey and support a new, healthier life for you. This is a lesson to everyone who is listening. Let's surround ourselves with good people. Number four, pray for healing and restoration. There is a Bible verse, Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 14. Heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved. For you are the one I praise. Listeners, our sister, read this Bible verse. Jeremiah 17, verse 14. Heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved. For you are the one I praise. This means that prayer can be powerful. Ask God to heal your heart, your relationships, and your spirit. Trust that He can restore what has been lost and help you rebuild your life. God understands your pain and wants to comfort you. The fifth important thing you need to do, my sister, is trust in God's plan for your future. Trust in God's plan for your future. This is Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope. This means that even when life feels uncertain, God has good plans for you. His plans include hope and peace. By trusting in His guidance, you can have confidence that He will lead you to a better and brighter future. The sixth important thing, seek God's wisdom in all decisions. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. James chapter 1, verse 5. This means that in times of confusion or when you are unsure about what to do, ask God for wisdom. He promises to guide you, helping you make decisions that bring peace and growth rather than pain. The seventh important thing is find strength in the community of faith. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together. This is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24 to 25. I was reading. Joining a community of believers like a church group can provide support, encouragement, and friendship. Faith communities can help you find comfort, share your story, and remind you that you are not alone on this journey. The eighth important thing is to focus on love and compassion moving forward. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. This means that focusing on love and kindness can help bring healing by caring for others and making choices that come from a place of love. You can start a new chapter filled with purpose and peace. And my closing thought, God offers hope, forgiveness, and a new path to those who seek Him. Moving forward, allow His love to guide and strengthen you as you rebuild your life. These verses above provide a foundation to turn past pain into growth and healing. And with God's help, you can find peace and start afresh. I hope you learned. I also learned from your story. We also learned from your story. Listeners, don't forget to leave your comments deep down there. Let's fight together. It's our fight, not your own fight alone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until we meet again in other episodes. Bye for now.